Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Okay, thank you. How are you?
Great. I'm John. This is Jason. We've interviewed via phone a couple of times, but
It is a pleasure to see
yes.
you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. You guys are the true lovers of cinema, so I'm very pleased to talk to you, and thank you.
That is a wicked awesome shirt you have on.
Yes.
Well, you know, you got to promote.
That's right. I love it.
Well,
You're a sad old drunk, and you've been making movies for 60 years.
You're not sad.
Does it for you?
well, I get congratulations. Speaking of promotion, the oh,
Heck yeah.
there you go.
Put myself in a little something right here.
There you go.
Uncle Lloyd on the clarinet. The only thing I did during COVID.
All right. Is there anything you can't do, sir?
A little something about Woody Guthrie. He wrote
Yeah.
that in opposition to the jingoistic, semi-racist God Bless America. That's why he wrote that. It's not just for big fat women. God Bless America is for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess Arlo kind of took it himself and
He went his own way.
oh yeah, he sort of kept those stoic. Yeah.
He fought against the Vietnam War and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Very kept in the same spirit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to say, yeah, you know, speaking of promoting, congratulations on the New York Times review. I think you know, I think there were some things in there that were you know, I don't know what their angle is, but overall it seemed like a pleasant review, and I don't know if that came across that way to you, but
Oh, it was usually A, the Times ignores us,
yeah.
usually, and B, they when they do pay attention, they don't even give it to a real critic. In this case, at least they gave it to a genuine critic who at least knows something about movies. So
Yeah.
I think the review was fair. You know, again, I don't make movies for the general audience out there, nor for the audience of the New York Times. I
Right.
make movies for you.
Exactly. I was going to ask, you know, does
Yeah,
it
we love them.
for sure,
100%.
for sure. I mean, you know, this is trauma is something that's been instilled in us since, like,
It's an institution.
yeah, it's an institution. But
That's
when
really good. Thank you.
does the value of that review, does it really matter that much in the long term to you? Or I mean, I know it's appreciated, but
No, it doesn't really matter. It's purely that I'm a narcissist, and everything revolves. You know, I take everything personally.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think anybody. Honestly, I don't think people really read the New York Times anymore. Maybe old people do. I don't know, but certainly our fan base gets their news from people like you.
well, you know, I was going to say the way movie reviews have gone over especially like the last 10 years, it's sort of I guess the validity of some of those reviewers have gone away. I know Rotten Tomatoes, you know, anybody could review a movie, so they had these campaigns to crash, you know, to trash a movie that they didn't like the political statement of, or whatever it may be. And
Well,
so,
that's the problem. The big companies look at this Oscar thing. Hashtag Oscars fan favorite. They tried to raise their dead ratings by letting the fans pick a favorite movie, and look what won, a shitty movie by Zack Snyder. So clearly it's the system is gamed. I'm convinced Rotten Tomatoes are gamed. It's all gamed. I don't think Ain't It Cool was gamed. I think that was, but the shitheads put him out of business, right? So you know, if somebody's trying to do something decent, and he might have done something gross 25 years ago, they, sorry, I have to use the incorrect pronoun, they get canceled. And that's what happened to Harry.
Yeah.
You know, it's still, nobody still said whatever he did.
I've actually haven't even heard rumors, but you know, I don't try to.
That came along at the right time where you could just make an intonation against somebody and it would be met with outrage and result.
Yeah, there were a couple of third-rate bloggers, third-level bloggers who thought they were going to advance themselves by knocking down, well, we shouldn't go into it, but the point is you can game the system, and the big companies do, and it's a big problem. And the New York Times is on the needle of advertising for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Otherwise, they'd be paying attention to Troma, who's been making movies for 50 years in New York.
Exactly.
In New York, with a building we own in New York. How many movies have we made in New York? My wife was the New York State Film Commissioner for 20 years, appointed by Republican and Democrat. I've written 7 books. We've had a Broadway musical that played in the West End, Toxic Avenger. I mean, what more do they want? But we don't exist.
Exactly.
I mean,
you guys make us exist.
Well,
angry video game nerd, Newgrounds, Hack the Movies. The internet has spoken, and they love hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. So I'm grateful to the nice Janet Kasoulas, who understood hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, and it makes me feel good that at least they reviewed it. You know, but in the fullness of time, I think the angry video game review, he's got like how many millions of people?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been a little more, well, we got held over in New York. So that's, I think, thanks to people like you guys.
What?
John.
I think that, you know, these are the people that are the new influencers. Like you're saying, these are people that get their news, get their information online from, you know, actually like YouTube, you know, they're hearing people talk, they're hearing their peers talk, and they can hear and see the reaction from their own peers. And
that's an odd thing about times like these that are so tribal. It's terrible for news and information. It's great for fandom. Like you can find your people and like exercise your tribalism and your fandom, like Troma. And it's great. And you know, you don't have to have that in every other part of your life. Just keep it where it's supposed to be. Keep it with your art. Keep it with the things you love. You know, fight for something instead of always against it. And maybe while you're out, go see a movie like hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. I don't know, you know, maybe just exercise that muscle a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it is, you do see the good and the bad in that, but mainly the good is out there, and it's I think so.
Well, we got the good right here with us.
Absolutely. And you know, again, with 1,000 movies on Troma now, and like, you know, 50 years of
nuts.
Troma, that has to be a testament on itself. You know, there's not going to be any review, any person that can, any critic that can that will take that away from you. You know what I mean? This is something that is insane. Nobody else will do this, and it's you know, it's an amazing accomplishment.
Well, thank you very, very much. And you know, it's our Michael Hurst and my life work, right? We graduated from Yale, we formed a little company, and it's still here.
Yeah.
We don't make any money, yet we're still here. We're the herpes of the movie industry. We're staying. Like it or not.
Look, you're the favorite uncle at Christmas who's going to tell the dirty joke. I mean, you're the guy that everybody looks forward to seeing. No, you don't get to see you all the time, but man, when we get to see you, it's great, and there's a story that comes out of it.
Well, thank you. Thanks. Well, that's the secret sauce, really, of Troma Entertainment. Our fans, they do it all. They watch the movies. They invest in the movie. In fact, 10% of the budget of hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm was a gift. It was like a grant from a Bad Dragon. They gave us, I think, $40,000, which is 10%. Just gave it to us like a MacArthur grant to help us.
Great.
And my wife and I put up the rest of the money, but you know, clearly this was not like every Troma movie. We want to make an entertaining movie, but a movie that creates emotion in the viewer, and a movie that has something to say and might make the world a slightly better place. It's not a sausage machine, Troma.
No.
Each and every movie comes from the heart, the soul, and the brain of the filmmaker. And hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm is my most personal movie, but they're all personal. Terra Firma couldn't be more personal. Troma and Juliet, all of these movies are by independent filmmakers who are giving their soul to the public and exposing themselves. And sometimes it's you may love Romeo and Juliet, you may hate Troma's War, but you'll never forget hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. You go on a journey when you see one of our movies on a big screen, which unfortunately is not happening as often as it should. You'll have a real emotion in the movie theater. It's not just bubble gum, you know. It's not just jalapeno peppers on the cultural pizza, and people want a little jalapeno peppers on their pizza.
For sure.
Well, you brought back, speaking of terra firma, you brought back Debbie Rochon for this one. I'm a huge fan of hers, have been since I'm pretty sure terra firma is one of the first times I saw her on anything. But she's a huge cultural icon.
Oh yeah, she's great.
And she's great. Yeah, I mean, you guys do great things together.
She's very independent. She loves independent art, and she's had plenty of opportunity to go to Hollywood and do all that stuff. And she likes the independent art, and good for her. And
we're all richer for it.
Incredibly talented.
Well, you have
Debbie Rochon.
You have a tremendous eye for talent anyway. I think, I mean, that's no secret that the history of Troma, and, I mean, we could go through the list, but I know it's pretty much, James Gunn, the Matt Trey, Samuel L. Jackson, et cetera, et cetera.
Zach Amico.
Yeah,
our boy.
He's going to appear tomorrow, 4/20. We have a special 4/10/20 screening of hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm at the Nighthawk Cinema in Brooklyn. Where are you guys?
We're in North Carolina, so yeah, we're a little bit of a drive from there, a little bit of a flight, but
where are you?
Great. Yeah.
We get anywhere close, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
Where in North Carolina?
Right below Greensboro, right in central North Carolina.
Greensboro has a wonderful coffee bar that is a movie theater. It's a coffee place, but also about 200 seats.
They closed down a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they got COVIDed.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was sad to see.
There, and it was great. We had 2 nights there, and it was sold out, and it was a blast.
They had a really good thing going.
Yeah, it was really great there. But
that's too bad. That's really
unfortunate.
Well, if you see any good theaters down there, or bad theaters. My wife is from North Carolina, so we go there frequently. So if there's any theater that wants to play our hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, which the commissioner was one of the producers, along with Justin Martell and John Brennan, the producers of Joe Bob now.
Wow.
They all produce this thing, and I'd be happy to come to North Carolina if you can get a.
Oh, dude, it would be our honor.
Yeah, we can see what we can do.
Curate the Q&A, and we'll get Toxie and some Tromettes and the commissioner.
Yeah, well,
you're only describing a dream come true. I mean, geez, the hard sell there.
Maybe you can get a theater somewhere, Charlotte or the theaters all over.
I think we might know a spot close by. Yeah, we might have a little something in mind there. We'll talk to you about.
Yeah, I know a guy that possibly.
Yeah, we might have something going there.
Actually, there's a little comic book store in Greensboro. I think it was Greensboro, or was it Goldsboro? Anyway, we did it was a tiny little store. We were there about an hour. And they bought about $1,000 of Troma merchandise because they can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, probably Greensboro, probably Acme Comics. Those guys are.
It's a very small shop. Very
Yes.
small shop, but wow, pent up. Talk about pent up demand. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's some good ones in Greensboro.
Like 1 hour.
Yep.
But if you want Troma merchandise, gentlemen, tromadirect.com. So you've got Troma Now, which has a free app. And then if you want the t-shirts or Blu-rays or clothing or dress shirts or ties, whatever you want, tromadirect.com. It's secure, safe, and it's less expensive than the stores or than the conventions.
It's a good looking website too. It's easy to use.
Yes,
I have used it. So it's a fine piece of technology there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to back on the talent thing. When you is there something that hits you, like you look for a certain thing in a talent, or is it person to person where you know this person's going to be something?
Well, when we are casting, well, a lot of it is kismet. Trey and Matt were fans of Troma, and they brought us their unfinished Cannibal the Musical first. They didn't, they knew nothing about the business. They didn't know that Troma has no money. So we told them, look, go to the big boys, and maybe you can get some real money. And we were the first. Troma was the first stop on the train. And we knew they were talented. The movies that what they had filmed, which was most of the movie, was hilarious. I mean, it was brilliant. And my wife and I we watched their rough cut in the middle of the night. And we were just rolling with laughter. But the rest of the industry are chicken. They're afraid to. I shouldn't demean chickens. They have no courage.
We can just say chicken shit. It's okay. It's fine.
They were afraid of so finally Trey and Matt came back to us, and we finished the movie, and it's been one of our most successful. And they of course went on to South Park, which we had a chance to produce with them, but unfortunately, stupid me, I wanted the name changed to Tromaville instead of South Park. Trey Parker very politely, well, we've made this what do you call it, pilot with Jesus in it, and no, I think we'll stay where we are. That's a big many regrets. That's only one of them.
You can't fault you for wanting to keep on brand.
Yeah,
I gotta respect the move.
But you I mean, you're in Orgasmo, and I think there seems to be a working. You guys have a good relationship. Yeah.
We've all. I don't see much of them, but I do see James Gunn and Eli Roth and a few of the others, Trent Haga. And they keep in touch.
Well,
they try to help us as much as they can. It's not that easy.
It's such a fan victory to see you in anything owned by Disney. Like I just every time I was like, yeah, like that is so metal and such a victory every time I see it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But there's always at least one person in the audience when Guardian of the Galaxy or Suicide Squad. There's always, hey, that's Uncle Lloyd.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I mean
100%.
There's always one person who, hey, that's Lloyd. But
well, there's probably 2 or 3 in our group.
Oh yeah, we all yelled.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
With on the movie sets, when are you a taskmaster? Because I feel like that to keep on with these projects that you have limited budgets, but you have a vision. Do you feel like you're a taskmaster, or do you feel like it's what's necessary to do? Well,
that's a good question. We call ourselves the Troma team, and the movie has to be a really solid team. You mentioned, how do we find talent? We spend a long time on casting. We have a open call, and now that Troma is sort of famous, when we do that, there's people going around the block, and we don't ask for anything. We just say, come. We show us whatever you want to show for 3 minutes maximum. You can do a improv. You can bring your pet lizard. You could play the clarinet. You can juggle, tap dance, whatever you want to do for 3 minutes. And then we look at all that stuff, and people who have a little energy, we bring them back. And sometimes they end up being incredibly successful. But then we have lots of auditions, and we get to see who are the pain in the ass and who really love Troma. And it's not easy to get. It takes a lot of call. I think that when that Kathleen Corcoran said for Return to Newcomb High and Return to Newcomb High, that she was called back 13 times. So, just the idea of somebody being called back 13 times and being willing to go with that knowing that they're going to sleep on the floor and eat less than fancy food and have to learn how to defecate in a paper bag. I mean, going through all that to be in one of our movies, that means real dedication, because they're not there for the money. They're there to learn, and they're there to move up the food chain, perhaps. And those who have done that, who are talented, done very well. In fact, Catherine's moved out to California, getting awesome. A lot of work now.
Well, no, Zach has the infamous story about living in the funeral home, and the odd things that happened there, which was
great story.
Great, but I think those stories not only are great for work ethic, I guess, but also as a human being. Like, this is a time in his life he probably wouldn't be able to do that any other time in his life, and he took that chance to do it. He's got all these great stories about it, and through whatever suffering he has better insight in the movie industry. He has appreciation, and it's just one of those things you can never take away. He'll always look back and have that story.
Well, Zach,
those stories.
Hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. Not only is Zach hilarious in the movie,
yeah,
but he was a co-director, associate director. So he had a lot of. He made a huge contribution to both Return to Nukem High, where he was one of the stars, and Return to Nukem High, where he's one of the stars. And then in the hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, he really bloomed, and wonderful improvs on the set, organizing, writing, acting. I mean, did everything. He's very talented and the nicest. Absolutely the nicest guy you could possibly. Well, you know him. So.
Yeah, he's so passionate about the things that he loves. He'll throw himself so far into it. But see, that's a testament also to you, because this has happened so many times with people around you. You are a very inspirational kind of leader. People want to do things for you. They're going to work harder for you, and you're not yelling at them. You're not beating them over the head with stuff. They want to work hard for you.
There is some yelling.
Well, yeah, but it's not all the formula.
If you see Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, that Blu-ray has a making of, behind the scenes. It's an hour and a half, and you will see Uncle Lloyd not only yelling, but being I would say, how do you say it, a schmuck, an asshole. But that's the whole idea, is to show the truth. All the movies recently in the last 15, 20 years that Michael Hers and I have made, we make behind the scenes documentaries, and the one on Poultrygeist is just terrific. A Poultry in Motion, Truth is Strange to the Chicken, and all of there are about 10 movies that have feature-length documentaries about the making of them. And there's good, I would say you watch one of those documentaries and it's like a year of film school, except you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen a few, and I will 100% back you up on that. Yeah, that's some excellent stuff.
I think that's also good knowledge for someone who thinks they may be interested in doing this, and maybe they're not cut out for it. Maybe it's a good lesson to learn before they actually go there.
Well, you're right. In fact, now for the last almost 10 years, we require anyone who's going to work for us in any way, they must watch Poultry in Motion, Truth is Stranger Than Chicken. They have to watch that, and we encourage them to watch some of the other documentaries about making Terra Firma or Citizen Toxie or the other movies, because it's you see the truth. And anyone who sees Poultry in Motion and who goes forward to work for Troma or work on a Troma movie, they see it. The truth is there, and if they don't get it by then, they shouldn't come to the set. They
right.
The movie.
Maybe stick to the Today Show.
Yeah. Did you? So Zach plays a certain person. I don't know. He plays a real person, or a fictional version of a real person in this. Did you get any sort of response from that person from the movie, about the movie? No.
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, just
I mean,
wondering.
I really don't know. I certainly haven't heard of anything.
Okay,
But
I was just
who
wondering.
knows? You know, the best thing for that person to do,
Mhm.
whose name I can't even remember, but the best thing is for them. I'm using the wrong pronoun on purpose because I'm so woke. Job is for her, just ignore it. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
never going to go away. If she farts around, and I'm sure she farts, they're just going to get be like flypaper. You know, so,
Yeah, for
people
sure.
have more fun with her. So I think her best bet is to shut up and hopefully.
Yeah, I agree
But
because
Zach is hilarious. Zach is hilarious, and the extreme when his death scene. I don't want to give anything away, but just the idea that we linger on it and linger on it and linger. It's akin to the head squashing in Toxic Avenger.
oh yeah,
The car goes over his head
Yep.
and then backs up. Zach's death is in that vein.
Wow.
Very different, however, very, very different.
I can't wait for this. So the Tempest, why did you?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Okay, well, go ahead and ask.
No. I was saying, in choosing the Tempest, because it is so different from so many other of Shakespeare's works. Was there any particular reason? Because I know it's the only one that is actually like contemporaneous to the audience. Like it happens in real time. All the rest of them don't. But that's the one that happens in a single setting during the audience.
The thing about the Tempest that makes it difficult is kind of what you say. It's all set up.
Mhm.
There's all this. It's all this magical stuff that goes on, and then Prospero says, "Okay, let's go home. It's over."
Yeah.
So it's a tough film to make, but it's my favorite Shakespeare. It's the trippiest of his movies. He's got a monster. Prospero is makes magic. I wanted to wait until I was the age of Prospero. He's an old man. He's been kicked out of his kingdom. I'm an old man. I'm pushed further and further into the reeds of the underground. I make movies. Those are magical. Caliban is a monster. Fairy. Ariel's a fairy. There's all sorts of weird subtexts: earth, air, fire, water. But the idea of an old man losing power, just the idea of getting old, I wanted to wait until I could really feel Prospero. But I'm a big fan of the Tempest. I think I would say it's my favorite Shakespearean play.
Yeah, definitely the most unique.
I think anybody who knows the Tempest will have a great time with this movie. And I also think that hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm is a great way in. It's a great gateway to Shakespeare for younger people who might, not too young, of course, people over 16, afraid of Shakespeare. And I think Romeo and Juliet and the hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm are very good ways to ease into the greatest writer of the English language.
I 100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, I was going to mention Romeo and Juliet. It seems like, there's.
Well, the high school kids get that forced on them, but the Tempest, you just hear about it, right? You don't ever, not so many people are going to plays or at least reading or whatever. And this is going to be an eye opener for a lot of people. I think a lot of people, even in their 30s, are going to be like, I need to go back and see the fuck Bill Shakespeare was talking about, because I got what Uncle Lloyd told me. How much of this is the deal here? Yeah. And I'm excited to see your version because of the opposite.
Well, I think also I've been traveling the country. So I've probably been in front of thousands of people in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. In fact, I have COVID.
Oh, wow.
So many people. I've been all over Texas and Oklahoma and New York and Cincinnati and blah, blah, blah. And usually I ask the question, and out of 600 people, have any of you actually read The Tempest or seen it performed? And, maybe out of 600 people, 3 people raise their hand, or 1 person out of 200. It's amazing. Even the Museum of the Moving Image, which premiered hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, very few people raised their hands, even at the museum.
Wow.
So, that's pretty interesting. But you get a lot of fun out of the movie no matter what. So you don't need Shakespeare to enjoy it.
Nope.
And
No, for sure.
out of curiosity, you might go on the Cody or and watch Derek Jarman's version of the Tempest, or watch the one where Richard Burton plays Caliban on YouTube. It's free, I think.
I think so.
You're right.
Yeah, I think so.
You can definitely get the clips.
Yeah, put like
sure.
the all put together, or separated. Yeah, the whole movie.
Yes, you can see the whole. You can see the whole movie with Richard Burton as Caliban, Lee Remick as Miranda, Maurice Evans as Prospero, Roddy McDowell from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I forgot Roddy McDowell was in that one. Is he Sebastian? I think.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't remember the others, but
It's been a long time.
Especially Richard Burton playing the monster.
That's wild.
It's amazing that you can have a cast like that, but there's also like there seems to be a little bit of a lack of reverence for things in the past, things that came before. And but I think hopefully we'll start to see that people will pick up on that.
You know where you can get all that stuff?
What's that?
Tromaville.
True.
You can get it all in Tromaville. All you got to do is hit up all the good folks at Troma, and there's a little something for everybody there.
That's it.
You can get anything you need.
We have children's film Troma now. You've got Doggy Tales, which appeals both to 5-year-old children and stoners.
Yes,
I think, but also a good spark a blunt. Had a lot of interesting stuff, from blood-sucking freaks to G-rated, family-oriented, fun, movies for the family with.
And it's independent, which is such a
the last truly independent movie studio.
Yeah.
The longest running, certainly the longest running.
Yep, absolutely.
That also reminded me the last blockbuster, which is a documentary about the last blockbuster in America. You have a fantastic rant in that movie, which is I think 120 seconds long or something like that, right? And
pure gold.
Which was essentially the Blockbuster refused to let Troma movies in, right? They didn't accept Troma movies because of, I guess they considered them pornography or something. I'm not really sure. But did you watch the
problem with Blockbuster is they had the policy of let's have 50 copies of Jiggly and no copies of the Toxic Avenger.
Right.
So they preferred to have the top 20. And that didn't work out. Once they put all the mom and pop shops out of business, then they went bankrupt. They destroyed the industry. So I didn't get this documentary because everybody when they came to me, they came to my house, and I found, we used to do things like rip up Blockbuster at Comic-Con San Diego. We had a campaign, cut up your Blockbuster card. We had a certain time, and we had people come in to cut up their Blockbuster cards because we all hated Blockbuster. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I had one of them gave me a shirt about 30 years ago, Blockbuster, with the logo on it. And I somehow found it. I can't believe I found it because I'm a total mess. And I found the thing and I wore it in that documentary. I figured people would be upset about Blockbuster, but the thing is all about how wonderful it's so nostalgic. I miss Blockbuster. Fuck them. Blockbuster was horrible. I assumed everybody was going to say what I said. I didn't realize I was the only one.
Yeah, no, it was like a love letter to Blockbuster, and then you bust in and like give them this real truth about it, which is perfect. And
it's to the credit of the documentarians that they left that in.
Yeah, that was and of course that I think that one's closed now too. But
yeah, I believe so.
Did it close? The one remaining closed?
Somebody told me that like a week ago, and I haven't really looked into it, but I think it did.
The thing you should know also is that there were franchise Blockbusters. People who were stupid enough to actually pay Viacom, Paramount, who own Blockbuster, the right, like McDonald's. You can buy a franchise to McDonald's, but you have to serve the meat that they produce chemically. So with the franchises, they did have Troma movies, and they did because the movies sold. Blockbuster corporate was under the thumb of the cartel that runs the industry. The franchises had more variety, so they would have Troma movies in there, and so it wasn't all bad, but most of Blockbuster was terrible. Yeah,
well, I think it's hilarious that they're gone now because of that sort of greed that they had, and then not only is Troma still around, but you have your own service, your own streaming service there where you can people can see all of your movies, and yeah,
you're right.
No Blockbuster.
If you watch some of the movies I've directed, you can get the movie itself, and then later on you can watch on Troma Now, you can watch the commentary track with the movie. And I don't think the other services like Amazon do that. I don't think you get
no
haven't seen it once.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite parts of the DVDs.
Oh yeah, you get the commentary. Yeah, go back with your buddies, open a few bottles of something, and enjoy yourself over the evening.
Yeah.
Well, Clay and Matt, if you listen to the Cannibal the Musical commentary, they did open a few bottles while they did the commentary, and they were the first. And now every schmuck gets drunk and does commentary. That's not funny. Their commentary was very good.
Hilarious. I remember, and this is years ago, but I remember watching that, and one of them swallowed a straw in the middle of that or something. They thought dude, whatever it hit that point, I was done.
Yeah,
it was it was so funny, so funny.
They're brilliant. They just get more and more brilliant. It's incredible.
They really do.
Well, outside of Troma, what excites you about movies and film now? Like, what do you look for? What do you like? Who do you like?
Well, I'm certainly I'm a fan of the great filmmakers of today who were fans of Troma. Certainly, Del Toro, love his films, and Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was just a masterpiece.
I agree.
So they were Troma. I knew them when they were kids. Peter Jackson also, when he was doing the Bad Taste, no, before Bad Taste, the puppet movie and all that stuff. He was going to the festivals, and
I think Brain Dead was more or less just his love letter to a Troma movie.
Oh
yes,
yeah, for sure.
You're absolutely. He said that as a matter of fact.
Did he really? Wow, you can see it. You can see the influence.
Was the one who told me to make a bigger movie, and I made the 2-volume Return to Newcomb High and the Return to Newcomb High. 2 movies in one, but 3 hours worth of movies. He had done Kill Bill, and so I was inspired by him, even though he was inspired by me. I guess the Korean movies these days, not Parasite, but some of the others. Certainly Spanish cinema is incredible.
Yeah.
Argentina's got, I mean, there's great. The trouble is you don't get this, I don't see much on Netflix really. What do you guys, have you seen anything good on either Netflix?
A lot of the Korean horror that I really like that. It's the Last Train to Busan and Train to Busan and
we found one a few years ago. John found it. The English title is called Witching and Bitching, but it was a Spanish movie.
Yeah,
so fucking good. It's one we watch every Halloween season.
Yeah, it's really nothing
dark
like it, actually.
And funny.
Where do you find it?
It was on Netflix.
It was on. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon. I think that's where I got it last time.
Witching and Bitching.
It's excellent. It starts off with a heist.
That's the alternate title. I don't know what the
a heist in cosplay.
Right.
It's fantastic.
But it actually has a lot of Troma elements.
Very much. Yeah. These people definitely have studied Lloyd Kaufman. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Trying to
particularly towards the end of the movie.
Right.
I'm making a note of it right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, Jesus, you set the bar. You're the one made it all happen. You're the genesis here.
You're very nice guy. When I'm dead, the minute I get hit by a bus, I think the mainstream will probably, at least the people, the people who've worked for us over the years. They always say, you know, when you die, suddenly the world will discover Uncle Lloyd as a national treasure.
Would you, how angry would you be if someone were to make a movie about you, like one of these, you know, Hollywood biopics that are coming out now?
Nothing to hide. That'd be fine. That'd be
really, no, not that. It's just more some of the ways that they put these stories together are just cringy to me. Like, I mean, if it's the Beatles, like, hey, that's a real hard day's night we're having. They're like in the little, you know, it's really ham-fisted and over the top. I don't know.
Actually, I have three. The commissioner and I have three progeny, and two of them have been working on a documentary about our family and Troma intertwined, because my wife and Kitty's are kind of debutantes. My wife was president of the New York Junior League, a debutante, and
Wow.
a lineage that goes back before the Mayflower.
Wow.
And you know, sort of you know, that crowd. And she was film commissioner of New York State for 20 years. And then you've got the father on, you know, with Toxic Avenger and Head Squashing and Blood-Sucking Freaks, and you know, we were still getting busted. Cry Uncle got busted, even though it's by John G. Avildsen. It got busted in Pittsburgh. And you know, there's this very interesting intersection, collision of cultures, and my daughters have been working on a documentary for a long time.
So that sounds fascinating to me, because it is like, yeah, I mean, there's substance to that, where I think like they some of those biopics they put out, they take out, it's like a cookie cutter thing, like,
Right.
But
this
and
is
you're not, and you're far from cookie cutter if you want, you know. I guess is my point.
Roger Corman and his wife are executive producers on this documentary.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that.
They have total freedom over it. So, yeah, the whole idea is to show the truth. I mean, these behind the scenes on HBO, they last about 8 minutes, and you learn nothing other than we had a day when Mel Gibson didn't have any Perrier water and there were no people around to insult. You know, I mean, that's about the extreme that you get. You know, you don't get any real. You watch watch the thick brown line, which is the documentary about Tales from the Crapper. You watch that, you'll see a sad old man trying to make a movie. Watch Terra Firma, Farts of Darkness, the documentary about Terra Firma. Again, these are terrific. Anyone who's interested in the making of movies, it's the unvarnished truth, 24 frames a second, as Godal used to say.
And you know, for a young filmmaker right now, the equipment, the
technology,
the platforms,
the most available it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
What's your thought on TikTok? Because like I see some things that where a lot of it's garbage, obviously, but there's some things that are fairly genius on some of the levels. What do you think about it? Because I feel like that actually could, for a certain, you know, some filmmakers, that could be a beginning, you know, in its own right. I don't know.
I majored in Chinese studies at Yale, and the thing I took away was Taoism, which is propounds a dualistic universe where you don't have beauty without ugliness, you don't have pain without pleasure. You know, the sign for Taoism is these two things,
the yin yang.
And the point is, we have this wonderful technology. You know, Tangerine was made on this. You know, you don't need money anymore. You need to have you need to have something to say. You need to write a script. You need to have talent. You need to read some books, maybe Shakespeare, maybe Don Cervantes. You know, you need to Don Quixote, maybe the greatest novel ever written. You need to. If you don't have that stuff, you're not going to. I don't think you're going to be very good as a filmmaker. But again, who knows? I think you need to be part of the actions and passions of your times. The problem is you don't need money to make a movie. You do need talent, perhaps. You need something to say. You can't just take drugs and think you're going to have a big party. Yeah. And if you want to see that, watch Tales from the Crapper. It's on Troma now. That one you can get totally drunk. It's a lot of fun. But then watch the making of, and you'll see a bunch of young people that clearly didn't respect the art of film, and they made a mess of it. And I tried to clean it up. Well, you'll see it. It's kind of sad. It's a cautionary tale because I didn't have the guts to fire everybody. Actually, we fired the first gang. We did fire the first crew, and then I brought in the Troma team, and they behave like jerks. It's a thick brown line, I think. But all those documentaries are terrific. And the thing is, I do not know how to deal with the digital world. I don't know how to edit. I'm ignorant. So now we have these very good young people like Brandon Bassam. I produced his film, The Final Beginning. I produced Mercedes. It's a Final Beginning /Ending Part 2 on Troma now. Mercedes, the Muse, has finished Divide and Conquer, which is a real feminist movie. And we're trying to get some theaters for her. And we've, as I say, we just finished principal photography on an anti-hunting movie in Tennessee. These are all movies, and there's another one in England. That
wow, you did an anti-hunting movie in Tennessee?
Yeah,
you are the man.
That's awesome. It's a group of the people that worked on #Shakespeare Shitstorm. They call themselves Shithouse Productions.
Nice.
Ben Johnson is directing, who I've worked with for about 10 years, and Jimmy Adamson wrote the script, a terrific script. He worked on #Shakespeare, and the whole gang worked on. It's the Troma. It's Tromaville too. It's still Tromaville in Tennessee, which I think was wonderful. So,
I love it.
I'm producing for younger people, and they know how to make a movie that looks as good as #Shakespeare Shitstorm, but they know how to do it for $25,000, and they know how to write a good script. And Brandon Bassam is shooting right now a new movie, which I'm producing, called Bring on the Dead, which has a Saturday Night Fever satire, horror within it, with the dance floor. And I worked on Saturday Night Fever. That was one of my,
exactly,
sort of my film school, one of the elements of my so-called film school. So, you don't need money anymore. The problem is, how do you live? If you're making your own damn movies, how do you pay the rent? How do you feed your children? It's very hard to do that unless you're part of the mainstream, and then that may require a lot of compromise. Too many compromises.
For sure, yeah.
Sometimes you got to chase a few windmills.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So are you through directing, or are you just taking a break, or do you anything on the horizon that you?
Well, I think in the same way that the Tempest is arguably Shakespeare's last play, I think the #Shakespeare Shitstorm may jolly well be my last directing. It took a lot out of me. If you look, I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
We wanted to hit a theater and see it. That was the way we wanted to.
We'll send you a link. Send the email Gideon.
Okay.
And we'll get a link to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thank you.
Review it. Yeah. Maybe
100%.
100%.
It's nothing for us to roll out an entire episode of Troma stuff. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be great. Good.
Well,
so I don't know what I was talking about, but
the last movie.
It may be. This is a $50 million movie made for under $500,000.
Wow.
And it's gargantuan, and that's why it should be seen on a big screen. There's thousands of people in it, and all sorts of stuff happening in the background too. So you need to see the whole. You lose a lot on the small screen, but it took a lot out of me. And at the end of the principal photography, I did a special homage to Alfred Hitchcock. I actually had vertigo.
Wow!
Never had.
Wow.
You know, so I barely, you know, when you see the movie, you'll understand why it was. And I played Prospero, and I don't want to give away too much, but it was very demanding. I don't think any other 75-year-old human would have been able to do. I think they would have risked serious heart attack or some other form of illness in this very demanding. Well, you'll see the movie.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Kaufman. I don't think any 25-year-old human is willing to do most of the things you're willing to do.
Yeah, you have, and that's why you are an institution. You are one of a kind. Troma is one of a kind.
The only maverick institution.
Yeah, it's an inspiration. Everybody should look at Troma, and you have a dream.
Well, anybody
what you shoot for.
You can promote Troma Now. That's kind of our big hope. Troma Now is growing, but we have no money to advertise, so it's all word of mouth. If you could please tell your fans to
absolutely
download the app, which is free, and the first month is free, and then it's only $4.99 a month.
Can't beat that price.
And it's like literally endless. I mean, you're just not gonna,
bottomless entertainment.
Yeah, you're gonna get what you want on there, and
we'll get years of entertainment, and every month new movies that are wonderful, independent, entertaining, a variety of brilliant, young, courageous directors. So filmmakers. It really is called filmmaking. Filmmaking is better.
And for all my fellow Lotharios who are watching this, Troma loves boobs. Troma is all about the zeal of life and celebrating all the craziness and the beauty that is the human condition. So enjoy.
Yes.
Guys get it, and thank you. Really appreciate it. You know,
but Mr. Kaufman, thank you for your
right. Makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Yes. And you know, we have huge mouths. We will shout it from the mountaintops.
Yeah. I mean, it's been this way for so long, but
so looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can do something in the great state of North Carolina. We'll bring the commissioner and Toxie and hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, or maybe one of the other new movies, and we'll have maybe we can have a Troma weekend. Or
oh wow,
it would be great. Our honor.
Yeah,
no joke.
I will reach out to someone as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. Well, thank you so much, and good luck with
feeling better.
Yeah,
really
feel better. And
you still did this like a fucking champ.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
I got the COVID because I'm in touch. I've been.
Yeah. You're a man of the people.
It's a miracle I didn't get it till last week, considering where I've been and the risks I've been taking. So.
Look, we're going to call Joe Rogan and get you that cocktail and get you set up right now. We're going to make this
whatever that is. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you.
Let me play myself off.
Oh, yes,
please do. Yeah.
And give you a little bit of fascism.
Here we go. Legend Lloyd Kaufman. Thank you so much, sir.
So much.
It's a jingoistic song, and it used to be a big, large woman who was, I believe, racist, and who was famous for singing the song, Kate Smith, and it's the wrong mood. This land is your land is a better mood song, I think.
I agree.
That's
I agree.
Singing, we ought to be singing that. Anyway, you're singing the great songs of art and cinema, and thank you very much for your time and for your Troma love. So
thank you.
Pleasure's all ours, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.